Did you know that your local city officials might be signing strict confidentiality agreements with big tech that could shut local citizens out of information about what happens to the land they live on? It's happening right now where I live. Buckle up, because we're taking you to the story. A quiet Monday night in a Minnesota city off Lake Superior. A mayor and 4 city councilors met for a short 12-minute city council meeting. These meetings are always posted in full on the city's YouTube page. This one, for some reason, only the audio is working, so it's just a dark screen, but it's still pretty easy to imagine what this city council looks like based on the audio.
Bueller.
It sounds a lot like that one scene.
Bueller. Bueller.
Is there anyone that wishes to speak to the council? Is there any public discussion for the council this evening? Is there anyone who wishes to address the council tonight?
The very next meeting was different.
It's the wrong thing to do to keep this secret.
You're messing with people's lives.
I'm very concerned that I'm just learning about this.
Our taxes are going up. Don't lie to us.
So what changed? Well, a local newspaper made a records request about a mysterious big development in town, and what it got back from that records request was quite a bombshell. The project was a data center, a big one. Star Tribune reporters discovered that local officials had also signed NDAs, or confidentiality agreements, about what had been dubbed Project Loon. The company behind it all, a mystery. This is all city officials have said about their identity.
The company being represented is a Fortune 50 company with a U.S. headquarters.
Tech companies on this list include Amazon, Apple, Alphabet, Microsoft, and Meta. That's Facebook. The city says the secrecy is because it's early in the process, that preliminary discussions with city staff outlined the scope of the potential project, which could bring significant investment, job creation, and economic opportunity to Hermantown and the county.
High hundreds of millions of dollars in private investment and potentially reaching into the billions of dollars of private investment.
The city says they hadn't told people about this data center until now because it's early in the process. And as far as those NDAs and the year of work they quietly did on this, that's an important part of government business. Here's what the website says. Developers, entrepreneurs, and folks with big dreams, ideas, know they can count on our city staff to reasonably protect those dreams, ideas, until the appropriate time. Speaking of timing, the very next meeting, the city was ready for a vote.
We're only approving a zoning change tonight. We're not voting on the data center, although it affects the data center.
The developer is interested in the land that sits right next to an electrical substation because it'd be easier and cheaper to hook it up to power. But that substation happens to be on primarily single-family residential and vacant land. To allow a data center, it would take a vote. But before that, city staff reminded the crowd that this new development happened to fit in perfectly with the city's new comprehensive plan, one that had been passed several months ago.
We realized that we essentially have a shortage of light industrial type of land that's guided in the comprehensive plan for more light industrial use.
Labor unions, the Chamber of Commerce, and others spoke passionately for the rezone.
I'm in favor of the data center as long as it's done with union labor.
Let's be the community that welcomes progress.
Hermantown has a chance here to lead, to show how modern technology and infrastructure development can be done responsibly.
But the people who live on the land felt shut out, betrayed.
You have an obligation to the citizens of Hermantown, not developers who con you or maybe your staff into signing non-disclosure agreements.
Citizens from Hermantown and the surrounding region are coming together to tell you that we don't want this.
You no longer represent those who elected you.
We wanted to better understand what people who own land near the project are feeling. Right now we are driving out by the proposed project just to get a feel for what it looks like.
It seems like almost every property, if not every property, has a sign. There's no data center signs. We're on the southern edge of the property where the proposed data center is.
Some of these people have been pleading with City Council not to move this forward.
If this data center goes forward as planned, it will be directly in my backyard. for the people promoting this and taking notes behind me, if this is going to get pushed through, come buy me out now while my house still has a value.
This area is my sanctuary for myself, my family, my neighbors.
This is where I wanted to raise my family, and quite honestly, my husband and I are looking to go elsewhere.
But should they have predicted something like this happening? What was the plan before big tech got involved? I went into the city's archives and looked for an answer. I found an early version of a plan for this exact neighborhood made about 10 years ago. The goal? Preserve and enhance the rural character. The 2014 plan explicitly states the community had no desire for one of the major things Project Loon requires: public water and sewer services. But when it was city councilors' time to speak about the rezoning.
Does any other counselor have anything to add or comment?
Bueller,
Roll call, please.
Counselor Peterson,
Aye.
Counselor Jelly,
Aye.
Counselor LeBlanc,
Aye.
Mayor Boucher.
Aye. Motion to recess?
But the rezoning passed unanimously. Since that vote, things have continued to heat up. Citizens are suspicious.
And I think that you guys, when you wrote that plan, already knew that the data center was being proposed. It doesn't make sense any other way.
A lawsuit has been filed by the Minnesota Center for Environmental Advocacy and Stop the Hermantown Data Center, a grassroots group of local residents who want to pause future decision-making for a more robust view of the project. A lawyer from the group did an interview with me, explaining their claim that the city is illegally using shortcuts that lack necessary information to keep the deal moving forward.
There's also been a lot of secrecy with this project. City officials, county officials, elected officials have signed non-disclosure agreements, and the public has been entirely shut out of a process that's designed to be transparent.
And here's what's interesting. In that lawsuit, Exhibit A, an email from the city administrator to the economic developer and communications director back on September 18th of 2024, titled Project Loon. This is a lightly condensed version of that email. Just FYI, talk to the mayor, my key points: data center next to Minnesota Power substation, $1 billion investment, 50 plus full-time jobs. His response was, wow. His comments: should we be talking about this extension of utilities in the comp plan? I told him that we did make sure this area would be planned for business light manufacturing. This email was sent well into the final stages of years of work by the city to revamp that comprehensive plan. It was officially passed many months later. And what about that extension of utilities, the ones that residents didn't want not so long ago? City leaders have explained Project Loon will require a water and sewer extension costing $50 to $100 million. Here's what they've said about that.
Some of the questions being asked are whether or not there will be tax increases in order to pay for this. The answer is no tax increases in order to pay for that system. The utility extension will happen by project funding.
But this is where it gets confusing, because while the city claims project funding will foot the bill, we don't see anything about that in public records. Take a look at this column. Next to construct the extension of the water supply and distribution system to the site and construct infrastructure improvements needed to expand the capacity of the wastewater system to the site, the city of Hermantown is listed as the responsible party. I asked the city if they changed the city plan for this development, or if they could provide clarification on where the utility funding would come from. But they said, unfortunately, won't be able to follow up on your questions at this time due to the pending lawsuit. I've since filed several of my own public records requests, and I hope you stay tuned for the results of that. But while we wait, let's go back to quieter times, before all of this blew up. That mid-September 12-minute sleepy city council meeting. The final vote that day?
This would be a wage increase for City Administrator John Mulder.
A raise for the city administrator who penned this early data center email. The story continues to unfold. Hit subscribe and sign up to my Substack, The Northern Watch, if you want to know what happens next.